Hello, welcome back, part two. Kevin Gage, former Sheffield United, now a pundit on Blades TV. If you're a United fan, you probably see him quite regularly on there with other ex-players like Carl Asaba and various presenters. It's a really good service. Carlton Palmer, you'll hear him everywhere. You've only just got to go out on the street, a street corner, and you'll see him running past you. Because he's on some manic schedule at the moment, training for a half marathon and then a full marathon, and he's on every street of Sheffield just about at the moment. If you go out in this city, you'll see Carlton. You'll see Carlton, honestly.
It used to be in the bars and the pubs, didn't it?
Well, it's only dry January, then I'll be back in the bars.
Yeah, but you showed me your schedule, and you've been, I mean, even today you've run 10 miles. And if you missed part one, by the way, it's on my YouTube channel later, you can catch up with it. But he's running for Cavendish Cancer Care, the Sheffield Half Marathon, which is on March the 26th. And then he's doing the London Marathon for MENCAP.
Correct.
Am I right? And you can sponsor him with those efforts via Just Giving.
Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you were an athlete as a player. And how important is it that, we'll leave Kevin out of this conversation at the moment. How important is it that, for reasons he will understand, that former athletes maintain a level of fitness for that as well as the body?
Well, it's interesting. I was listening to a podcast the other day that Big Niall Quinn did with his missus about when Niall finished playing football. And she did a study on it. And it's interesting. What she said, and Gage, you'll back me up on this. Footballers are not normal people. They're not normal people, right? So,
agreed.
So, like Niall Quinn's missus said, you're not when you retire at 38 or 36 or 35, you're not going to now become a normal person. You're not. That's your psyche. That's your makeup. We're not normal people. You couldn't do what we do if you were normal people, and especially the higher up you go. So therefore, I understand, and I've understood that since I've finished playing football, that part of me needs to keep on training. I need to train every day. That's when I get up in the morning. I mean, I'm retired now. My wife's a teacher. She goes to work. She leaves the house at 7:15. I'm up and out, or either running or going to the gym. I've got to do that. That's part of my... and then once I've done it, I've trained for an hour and a half, I feel brilliant. If I don't do it, I just feel that I just don't feel right. And that's part of my daily routine. Just, and this is where a lot of footballers and a lot of sportsmen have issues, because they think that they can just go back into normal life and be a normal citizen. They can't be, because of the way that they've lived their life before.
So this rings a bell with you as well, Mr.
I'll get my
Gage.
coat.
Yeah, but you don't look unfit.
No, I'm not unfit, but I can appreciate what you're saying. And I've had my time, going to the gym and doing this, that and the other. There's no way I could do the amount of running that you do. I couldn't do I know you do half marathons and stuff. I physically couldn't do it with my knees and my ankles. So they're in decent shape, but I don't want to ruin them by even starting. But I do a lot of walking. So me and my missus go walking, and I go walking for hours by myself as well, just to get out, to get some fresh air. And I find that, and it's not just strolling about. That's getting togged up and having a good a yomp, as they call it.
And you can't avoid hills round here anyway.
Yeah,
so
but I don't feel the need to maintain a good fitness level, because it's just not going to happen. I'm quite happily settled into retirement from most forms of huge exercise.
Yeah, we prefer to watch other people doing it now, and at Hillsborough and Bramall Lane, they're doing it very, very effectively. We did say we'd talk about the transfer window this half. We talk about Mark McGuinness, and we'll also talk about, I don't know, Iliman and Jai. Do we completely ignore him, or just say that he's rubbish here on January the whatever we are during the window?
In case anybody's watching, in case the scouts are watching.
We say he's rubbish, do we?
He's terrible. It's terrible. Doesn't work hard, he's lazy, can't score goals, gives the ball away.
There you go.
Tries too many dribbles, so I wouldn't bother with him.
Are you convinced?
Listen,
what he said.
Yeah, you know, listen, he's under contract, so Sheffield United are in control of the situation, right? I think he's got 2 or 3 years, so they're in control. If he's a talented player, but they're in control of asking for a sizable fee. Most of those players at Sheffield United will think, listen, we're going to be playing in the Premier League next season. If we all stick together, hang in there, we're going to be in the Premier League next season. He wants to be a Premier League player. He's going to be there in little over 3 months' time if they all stick together.
And also, if he got a move, there's no guarantee that he wouldn't just be a squad player somewhere else. Whereas at United, he's definitely going to play, isn't he?
And he's also really enjoying his football. You can see that. You know, he's happy. He's settled. He's been in Sheffield 2 or 3 years. Yeah. He's really come of age in the last half a season. We saw flashes of it last season, but it was more about Gibbs White. He took all the plaudits, and Njai, you know, he was doing the same kind of stuff, but Gibbs White was getting all the praise. So he's really he's come to the fore this season. And yeah, if he's enjoying his football and he's happy at the club, let's just see the season out, see where it takes him, because he's, you know, the world's literally his oyster after that. He can sign for us as a Premier League player. He can get a move and still be a Premier League player.
What sort of money would we even be talking about there?
For Njai?
Yeah.
Well, I think I generally, and I'm not being exaggerating or being outrageous, but I think you'd start at maybe 30 million quid, something like that.
Yeah. Would you?
Yeah, absolutely.
But he's got 18 months on his contract, so he's got the rest of the season and next season. So obviously, Sheffield United need to know what their division they're in as soon as possible. And if we're getting a Premier League spot next season, then of course, you know, not break the bank to keep him. It has to be some kind of level set, but certainly give him a decent, substantial rise, put him on par with good Premier League players.
He's 22, and what struck me, apart from his outrageous talent at times, is the fact that Hecky trusts him. He picks him every time. Every time. I think he's the second or third appearance holder in the squad at the moment. Well, he doesn't leave him out and doesn't give him a rest, doesn't take him out the firing line.
We went down to Millwall, didn't we, in the FA Cup on Saturday. Now, I if it was me as manager, I wouldn't have played him. Wrap him up in cotton wool, say have a week off. Yeah. But he plays him, and you could forgive him for coasting through the game and not getting involved. He's creating things, he's scrapping for the ball, he's doing his runs, he's putting 100% effort in. You know, he's just a phenomenal.
Yeah. Terrific, very influential player. And it's a strange situation to be in, both sides of Sheffield. I think the priority is more about keeping than signing.
Well, we've got a problem with young Bashir, and it's a problem. I don't know how he's ended up getting into the situation that he is, but I feel that, I mean, today he's been linked with AC Milan. I think his agent's touting him all over the place. That's my personal opinion. I'm not saying I know that for a fact. He's a young player who's played over 20 games in League One, who's got a huge amount of talent. See, for me now, if I was in Darren Moore's position, they've tried to tie him down to a long-term contract. It's one of those for me. You're playing regularly in League One, right? Okay, you might want to play higher. Well, you're going to be playing in the Championship next season. If he doesn't commit his future to the football club, I wouldn't play him. I wouldn't give him that shop window. I remember Ian Rush saying to me a long, long time ago, he said, don't worry about the money, son. Worry about perfecting your craft. If you do that, you'll always earn your money, right? So this young kid, his agents, how many players you see in Gage where the agents have got involved and moved him on? He might go somewhere and not play, lose a year, 2 years of his career. Look at young David's son, do you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, they come down. Play football, play football, play football. He's playing in the team, sign his contract, right? Now, if he could obviously sign for a club at Christmas, but he said he wants to stay to the end of the season. So why should Sheffield Wednesday give him the platform to be in the shop window and lose him for virtually nothing?
I don't think he's playing particularly well either.
I think
that's my impression.
Well, my worry about him is I think he's a talented player. I think he can play better, but I think he's also worried about getting injured, and that comes into his mindset.
So you're saying, look, take it or leave it. We've offered you this contract. If you don't take the contract now, then we're not necessarily going to play you. Is that what?
That's. I mean, obviously, you can have two takes on it. You say, right, play him to the end of the season, get promoted, and lose him for nothing, right, or virtually nothing, right. But my take on it is as a young player. Darren Moore has given every player he's tried to bring into that football club has been young players. Not many managers do that. He did it at Doncaster, he did it at West Brom. So he's giving these young kids a chance. Every player, even players he's been linked with now, the boy who's gone back to Cardiff wasn't playing at Cardiff. Now the Cardiff managers come up, seen him, we'll take him back to play. But Darren Moore's given him the platform to play. So when you've got these young players like that, they should be guided in the right way. I'm not saying to Bashir, and I can't believe for one moment in time that he's not been offered a good contract, because Sheffield Wednesday are very, very good players, right? But it's like his agents touting him around and holding out for the biggest, and then he might go from Sheffield Wednesday and not play. Look at the two boys who went up to Celtic.
Well, true. Liam Shaw was one, wasn't he? And he's ended up back down here on loans in places like that. Yeah. So it doesn't always work out. Clearly, a very good player. McGuinness. We talked about Mark McGuinness. And he's gone back. It's been will he, won't he kind of thing. And Wednesday clearly desperately would love to keep him for the rest of the season. He was on loan for the first half of it, done brilliantly well. He's back training with Cardiff, but I think and certainly I think that there could or should be a way of pursuing this further.
Well, I think the position that Cardiff are in at the moment, if there's a decent offer for him, they'll take it. I think the deal was to the end of the season, but obviously Cardiff can recall him, which they have done, and they're in a precarious position. So, and he has done exceptionally well. The manager was there the other night and watched him against Newcastle and said, obviously in the position they are, I can understand that. But if I was Darren and you're looking, because in the situation, both managers, Icky and Darren Moore now, without looking and being too, confident in what you're doing, you have to be looking at next season. You have to be looking at the Premier League. You have to be looking at the Championship. Will McGuinness be a good player in the Championship? 100%. So do a deal if it's right.
Can you afford to buy him on the basis that you could miss out on promotion? Could you not do a deal, say, here's a loan fee till the end of the season, and here's our guarantee that if we get promoted, we'll buy him for...
But at the age of 22, if we missed out, wouldn't it still be a good signing?
Well, I suppose so. With a 3-year contract, you could sell him if you get relegated.
Yeah.
So the key question is how deep are Mr. Shansiri's pockets, which have been hugely deep, but also how much can he do within financial fair play, which is a juggling act as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really. Do you think, I don't know if you know anything about the takeover talk behind the scenes. I don't, only that I hear that a deal has been done in common with other people. Don't know who it is, when it will happen. Do you think Sheffield United will come through unscathed in this transfer window in terms of keeping people?
Yes, for two reasons. One, because if the deal does go through, I think it's highly unlikely that a new owner is going to come in. These things take months and months, don't they? So he's not going to come in and splash 20, 30 million quid around. And even if he did offer that, I don't even think we need 20, 30 million quid. I think we're strong enough as we are. So we don't need maybe a loan signing to replace Kadra, who's gone back to Brighton. So if if a new owner came in, that's one possibility, but I don't see it happening. If the new owner doesn't come in and things remain as completely as they are, I think the Prince and the people behind the scenes are sensible enough to not rock the boat and to just keep the thing going as it is. We've already talked about how good a side we are, how strong a squad we are. Don't think we can afford to lose Njai, Berg, as I spoke about earlier. With the guaranteed riches in the Premier League, why would you even put that at risk? You're talking about 170, 180, 200 million quid, like minimum, for getting promotion. So it's very short-term thinking, isn't it, to cash in on Njai.
With 3 months to go.
Exactly. You just wouldn't do it, would you? It's just common sense. No. It's not good business practice, is it?
But, you can't... If somebody came in with £40 million, for instance, and we talked about a starter for 10 being 30, if somebody came in with 40... there's a decision to be made, isn't there? And
40 as opposed to potentially 180, 200 in the Premier League.
Yeah.
For me, it's a no-brainer.
His value's not going to go down. His value is only going to go up.
Yeah.
His stock's only going to go up when they're in the Premier League and he's playing and performing the same way. So, like Kevin said, you've got to have a longer-term view of it.
Talking of stock going up, I think that's true of Darren Moore. We know he's been under intense pressure because with the level of recruitment, the experience and the quality he's been licensed to get there really aren't any excuses for not getting promotion this season. I wouldn't have said. I don't know if you agree with that.
I speak to Darren regularly, and he was under no impression, under no illusions that his job was to get them back to the Championship, and he's fully focused on that, 100% focused. He's driven. I've known Darren a long time. He's a really nice guy. Above anything else about football and whatever, he's a really nice guy. He's a down-to-earth guy, but he's driven. He knows he's been backed by the chairman this season, and he's fully focused on getting Sheffield Wednesday promoted automatic. And we talk regularly, and he knows what he has to do, and he'll do it.
He carries the pressure quite easily, doesn't he? Doesn't let things get to him.
Well, you wouldn't know that with a big man because he would never let you know that. But any manager's always, you see, listen, there's two types of managers. There's a manager that has, like Pep Guardiola, and he has the pressures that he's got. Jurgen Klopp has the presence he's got because they've got to win the Championship of the league. You've got Darren Moore in League One, who's been given an abundance of riches, and he's got to get them out that league. He has to get them out that league this season. Right, Icky is a little bit different. I think if Icky does it this season, he's overperformed. I would say that. So he's not under as much pressure. But Darren understands that. He understands it's a big club, and listen, if you want to be successful in life, pressure comes with being successful, right?
The way he's done it and the culture shift clear behind the scenes, and we all know that there were splits and whatever. Some players weren't very professional, and he seems to have pulled everything together in that regard. That's been impressive.
Not just, you see, this is what people don't understand. It's not just about the first team. It's about the whole football club. Before Darren Moore took over, the club was broken. Right. Still now, I think Newcastle, the supporters, you can see the feel-good factor coming back. I know they think, oh, well, Wednesday are not playing particularly well. It's not about playing particularly well. It's getting out that league. Just got to get out that league, right? And as a manager, you make a good decision. You're the best thing to sliced bread. You make a bad decision like Icky. People forget when Icky kept his nerve. United had about 6 players out injured at the time, and he was shuffling the pack at the time. And he knew once he got their players back, they'd kick on again, and so should other people. But they don't give you that time. So it's a very, very difficult job when you're a football manager.
They have similarities, but also different philosophies. Hecky is more inclined to say, "This is my best system. These are my best players. That's the team I'm going to select." He does take them out occasionally, whereas Darren Moore's philosophy seems to be quite different to that. I'm not saying either's right or either's wrong, but Hecky's more inclined of that older-fashioned thinking, maybe, and you'd expect to see certain players picked.
I don't think. I think what's happened with Darren this season, because they brought in so many players, I don't think he knew what was his best system. And who were the best players. And as time settled down, Darren, he's quite adept to playing 3 at the back or playing 4 at the back, but it all depends who's available to him. He's picked up injuries. I think one game they played 3 games ago, he had 2 right backs, one playing at centre back and Liam Palmer playing as the other as the 3 centre backs, and went and won. So he's quite adept at that. It's very difficult when you bring a lot of players in.
And he's kept everybody happy as well through that and involved.
That's the advantage that Hecky maybe has over, for argument's sake, Darren Moore, but other managers in our division, because all the players know our system. So the players we've brought in, the players we've signed, They're brought in specifically to play those roles. For we brought in Bogle because he's an attacking brilliant wing back. Max Lowe, an attacking brilliant wing back on the left side. So the Anel Amhodic, when they knew he was a ball playing centre half, he could do that right-sided centre back, the overlapping centre back as we call it. So we bring players in like that to fit the system. McAtee, they knew he was a floating creative midfielder. So they're not specifically. They're not used to playing 4-4-2, or 4-3-3. They are specifically creative midfield, right side centre back, left side centre back, right wing back, etc. And everybody just slots into the system.
It all makes sense. Darren Moore, just come back to him. If you're looking for a manager, you're a championship club, you're ambitious. You've got to be impressed with what he's doing there, and people will come looking. Do you think Wednesday ought to be alive to that, and maybe even though we don't know quite how the season's going to pan out, that they ought to be looking to secure him for longer?
100%. I think he's done a fantastic job. It's not just about the first team, it's about the whole football club. They should be looking. I don't know what his situation is with his contract. We never talk about that. Darren's just focused on getting Wednesday out of this league this season, so we don't really talk about that. He's just like that, blinkered. He just wants to get the job done.
But you think there is a case for saying, come on, let's stretch this. Let's
100%. I mean, you look over the last 2 seasons. Wednesday have made Hillsborough a fortress. Doesn't matter who comes there, whether they're in the Premier League or in the Championship, they're going to struggle against Wednesday there. He's done a fantastic job.
I think we're lucky in this city that we've got 2 really honest guys in charge that will give you an honest answer to a question and are not only well respected in football but liked as well.
Yeah.
We are fortunate, I think.
Yeah,
with
definitely,
these 2
100%.
guys.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and the fans relate to them as well, don't they? I mean, I can't speak to the Wednesday fans, but everybody's on board with the Sheffield United. I'm going to call it a project. It's not really a project, is it? But you know what I mean.
Process.
Yeah, process. Yeah.
Yeah. Right, it's been fantastic talking to you, and you can answer this very quickly. A double promotion season in Sheffield?
It's looking like it, isn't it?
Double promotion?
100%.
Right.
And we'd be fantastic for the city. It's not great at the moment. The weather's not great. Things aren't great with the heating bills, everything. So at least it just gives the whole city and everybody a lift, doesn't it? Because that's what football does.
It's been a cheerful show, this. We've got, I'm happy to have a moan or two, but it can't find anything.
Have we got time to talk about politics at all?
Let's not upset anybody.
We talked about politics for nearly all the time. We were sitting next door waiting to come through. And I daren't repeat some of the things that were said, only that we seem to agree with each other on a lot of it, didn't we?
Let's leave it.
I think we'll leave it at that. There was no dissent or anything like that. But as we do leave the show with a minute to go, and just a reminder, you can catch up with it on YouTube. It's been a brilliant sort of hour, 45, 50 minutes. Carlton, again, is going to be running the Sheffield Half Marathon in March for Cavendish Cancer Care, and for Mencap, he's doing the London Full Marathon in April. So best of luck to you.
Thank
I know
you.
that, like with everything, you're giving it 100%. You never you're giving Dry January 100%, which is even more remarkable, and congratulate you on it. Kevin and I are going for a pint. I don't know what you're going to do.
I'm going out for an herbal tea. The missus has got me an herbal tea on the side now, in front of the log burn.
He's probably running home as well.
I'm
not going that far.
It's not that far. It's 3.5 miles.
No, it's a steady run for me.
Okay, congratulations on doing it,
yeah.
and I'm sure you will do it. And thanks ever so much for coming in,
Pleasure.
Carlton and Kevin. And thank you to you for being there and watching. We've got a bit of a Blade show next week with an absolute legend. Not that these 2 guys aren't legends, and will continue to be. Thanks for watching. See you next week. Bye-bye.